With the end of the year, there is always this kind of vibe building around, and I always wonder what it is.
Excitement, anxiety, whatever it is, there is an innate drive to start working on New Year's resolutions, what to do next, plans, goals. As the new year fast approaches, it is natural to feel a bit excited by the prospect of leaving behind the old year and beginning anew, especially with 2020, which has been quite an eventful year. I was reading this article where it said that studies show that about 60% of us make New Year's resolutions each year. Sadly, only about 8% of us achieve them.
As a goal-oriented person myself, along the years, I tried a lot of methods in order to incorporate habits, learn new skills. Of course, a lot of them turn out to be failures, but a good part of them turned out to be a great success. So having this said, here's a list of 5 things I learned along the years that helped me achieve my New Year's resolutions, and hopefully it will make you look in a different way at your New Year's resolutions.
Do a review of the previous year.
Oftentimes, I believe we're so busy living in the future, we forget to live in the present. No matter how slow growth can be at times, it's important to stop and celebrate the small things. I recommend you to do a year in review. Sit down, grab your notebook, grab your journal or your computer, sit down, reflect about the past year. Think about all the accomplishments that you had, all your wins, even the small ones, but also think about your failures. A failure is also a win from my point of view because you can always learn something from it. Sit down and take your time to reflect and think about all the things that you could have done better, what you could do to improve in the new year.
Start small. Set realistic goals.
If there is one thing I learned about goals is that in order for them to work, you need to make them realistic and actionable. For instance, one goal I kept failing at is that I would set myself to read a specific number of books each year, and some years I managed to do so, the other years I didn't, because I wanted to level up my success rate. I thought about it, okay, so let me redefine this goal. What's important for me? And I realized that it wasn't as important for me the number of books that I wanted to read. Okay, it is important, but not that important. What was important for me was to actually have the habit of reading every day. So basically, I took that goal and redefined it. I want to read every day for at least 10 minutes. And I increased my success rate with this goal. If you keep failing at a goal, you need to step back a bit and try to redefine it. So if you want to set up yourself for a goal, make it realistic. If you say, I want to be more active, I want to hit the gym. If you haven't hit the gym in a long while, your failure rate might be increased. So in order to lower that failure rate, think about it this way. What if I can commit to 10 minutes of activity every day? There is a bigger difference than trying to set yourself up for unachievable goals, like hitting the gym every day. Just start from small. If you can commit to that small step, after that you can evolve to, let's say, hitting the gym 2 times a week or 3 times a week or 5 times a week. Remember, small steps.
Do constant reviews of your goals.
I know there is this popular trend going on with manifestation, but I don't think just by voicing what you're going to do is actually going to make you do it. You know, you cannot say just that you're going to read every day without actually putting in the work. So basically, you need to hold yourself accountable. In case you don't have an accountability partner, especially now since during the pandemic, you can try to hold yourself accountable. Try and review your goals. You can do it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it's suitable for you. And you can track your progress in a calendar. Let's say, like I said, you want to read 10 minutes a day. Put it in your calendar every time you manage to do that. Check it somewhere and review it at the end of the week or bi-weekly or monthly, depending on how you do that. The more often you review that list, at least weekly or every other week, it is highly likely for you to hit that goal, because in case you didn't hit that goal, you'll make sure to schedule it in your calendar for the following period of time. So this way you can hold yourself accountable, be honest with yourself, and schedule time to better yourself, because nobody else is gonna do it for you at the end of the day.
Get rid of the fallacy of perfection.
I like to call myself a recovering perfectionist. Since oftentimes life just happens, and life doesn't always go the way that we planned. Sometimes we just need to put our stuff aside and just attend to whatever life throws at us, like 2020 was for all of us. And in that case, you deal with failure because you cannot achieve your goals or achievements, or you cannot work on a certain passion project. But it's okay. You need to get used to failure. Failure is, in a definition, it's a process where you can learn and grow. Failure, it's not something bad. And every time I see myself in dealing with failure, I always think about what Gary Vaynerchuk said.
I just think that people are scared to fail in front of other people. My friends, I'm telling you something right now. I'm desperately excited to fail in front of you. The battle scars are attractive. I think what's holding you back is what you think other people are gonna say about it.
The ex-perfectionist of me was always ticked the wrong way when we talked about failure, because I constantly ignored the concept of failure. I didn't want to embrace it. And when I started listening to a lot of speakers, reading a lot of books, and listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, who often talks about falling in love with the failing process, the perfectionist in me back then was like, no, this is absolutely impossible. Failure is for losers, and so on and so forth. Till I learned that failure and being afraid of failure is a societal norm that we've been taught since we were little, because like Gary Vaynerchuk said, we're so afraid of failing in front of the others. But failure gives us the right amount and space to learn and grow. That ultimately turns into a winning situation, even if it puts you in the middle of, getting outside your comfort zone. One of my biggest goals in life is learning and growing, and you cannot do that without failure. But sometimes failure takes a toll on me as well, and in order to ground myself and remind myself of my purpose, I ask myself a set of questions that might help you every time you face failure.
Can I still do this? Is there a way to improve it? What can I do better? What will I learn from this? Have fun with the goals.
We're so obsessed with the end goal that we often forget why we started doing that thing in the first place. What I recommend is that don't look at your goal as a burden. The goal is there to make your life better, to improve it. But if you get a task and a goal and you perceive it as a burden, for instance, if you want to go to the gym, but you perceive it as a burden, there is a high chance you might not achieve that. Think about it realistically. What's your ultimate goal? Do you want to move more? You can do it. Do you want to get fit? Do you want to get in shape? There are other ways to do that. You don't need to hit the gym if you dislike that. Another way to tackle this issue is that you can look at the goal as a puzzle you need to solve. So basically you need to put there piece by piece in order to fulfill the puzzle. That's how a goal works either way, with steps. What can I do to get there is one of the first questions. So like I said, you have a big puzzle and each puzzle piece is a small one. Try to break your goals into actionable steps. So if your ultimate goal is to get fit, for instance, you need to firstly become more active. You can do that by walking 10 minutes each day. After you get used to that task, you can start hitting the gym or picking up a certain sport. And then you can work on your nutrition. And all these things pile up piece by piece will get you up to your final goal. Another question to ask yourself is this: how can I make this fun? We oftentimes perceive goals as burden because we cannot find a way to have fun while we're doing it. So see how you can transform your goal into something fun. If you want to hit the gym, because I know it's one of the top goals for each year, try and listen to music. Try a new exercise every day just for the fun of it. To not perceive your goal as a struggle, but as something fun and exciting to look up to every day. What can I do if I lack motivation? Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. At first, there are some days where you might lack motivation. So how can you get some motivation? For instance, you can watch a YouTube video like this one. So you can watch, of course, other YouTubers that inspire you, listen to a podcast, do something that you can grab inspiration from. It can be a person, it can be someone from the internet, it can be a friend, or it can even be a nice weather outside. Whatever keeps you going, you should totally get advantage of that and pull out the motivation card every time you need it. For this, if you need more motivation, you can follow me on Instagram. This is my handle right here, The Raw Scientist. And you can go there where I will post short videos called Raw Motivationals that might help you get through your goals. Alright, so these are my 5 personal tips in order to stick to your New Year's resolutions or achieve goals in general. I know there are multiple ways to do this thing, so if you have any other tips, please leave it in the comments for the others to see. Also, if you like this video or found it any kind of insightful or useful, please hit that thumbs up button because it plays with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you share it with a friend that is trying to build New Year's resolutions, it might be a good idea. I would love to hear one of your New Year's resolutions. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you found it insightful, and I'll see you in the next one. And Happy New Year!